Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to this stream of Europa Universalis IV, where we are playing as Castile. We are not yet Spain, but I'm hoping that we will be soon. So, what happened in the previous session? Well, the big news is the fact that we are now in a personal union. Unfortunately, we are the junior partner, so Aragon actually has the personal union over us as opposed to vice versa. So ordinarily, playing as Castile, you could expect to get Aragon in a personal union under you, and that is typically how you would then go on to form Spain. Unfortunately, events did not quite go in our direction, so that is not going to happen. And I'm wondering how to get out of this, because now we're basically going to have to go after Aragon through force. Oh, we could also hold another agenda. Let's go and do that. Let's hold a diet. The estates of Castile have proposed agendas in the summoned diet favouring one of the estates here could have large benefits in the long term. House of Worship in Leon. We can build churches already, yes? Yeah. And we probably would have the money for it. What's the benefit? 1 base tax in Leon. That's actually a really good reward. Which is here. Except for the fact it's in the mountains. It's a relatively developed province, though. Or the nobility. You want us to be allied to 2 people. That's actually impossible, seeing as we're a junior partner. And then increase trade power in Tunis. I have no real intention of expanding that right now. Although that would give us a 50% cheaper trader. What do we have right now? We have a trader, but he's not cheaper. And if we had the guy that they're offering, we could promote him to a level 2 for effectively the same money. So what was the requirement? 25% trade in Tunis. We're currently at 13. Do we have any light ships? We have no light ships. So that would actually be incredibly difficult. So I think we're going to go with the proposal from the clergy. We're going to save up some money. And then we shall build a temple here in Leon. Oh, that was already a level 2 advisor, okay. All the same, wouldn't have been able to afford him. Or wouldn't be able to raise trade. Because we have no light ships. All of our ships are either heavies or transports. And we don't have enough sailors to really raise any, and we definitely don't have the money to build the ships that we would need. Alright, so, you guys are currently drilling. You guys are currently not. Am I saving military? Yeah, kind of. And we're already losing innovativeness, and we don't have a huge amount as it is. So I think I am going to go ahead and hire another general, which we will then put in charge of that army. So, list of patron names. This is going to be Wilhelm. I never remember if it's a CK or not. It's not. Okay. Put you in charge, begin you drilling, and there we go. Because we just finished a war against England and Portugal, we thankfully did not lose Portugal as a natural ally. We have an incredibly high chance of Liberty Desire. Now, is there anybody that we could ask to support our independence? Yes. Venice and Naples. And it would be just us against Aragon? Yeah, pretty much. I think we are going to push for this. So this is how you would try to split away as a junior partner. Basically, you first of all try and get people to support your independence. So we're going to reach out to Naples first of all. Naples has a very big fleet, which can probably help to counter Aragon's. And then once this diplomat has returned, we will then go and ask Venice for their support as well. And this is actually a very strong Venice. So combined Naples and Venice's fleet versus Aragon, that should go our way, although definitely do not underestimate Aragon's naval capabilities. The new techniques in our production are rumoured to be flawed, and several leading nobles argue we should discard them and go back to the old and tried methods instead. Actually, how good is our ruler from Aragon? He is terrible. Lose admin or lose prestige. I think I want to keep my prestige positive so this doesn't happen again in the future, so we'll take the admin cost instead. Need the last province of Granada. We do, but we can't attack them because personal union. Hey, one of the Barrys, how are you doing? And we are still making money. We still need to get the agenda in Leon. But we are making pretty decent money at the moment, considering we are paying our army full maintenance at the moment. Are we under our force limit? We are. Albeit only just, but we do have a better army than Aragon does. Plus Aragon just got out of a pretty expensive war, so I doubt that they're really going to have the capacity to do much against us. Okay, let's go and send a message to Venice. Now, one thing that it should be noted is if you get your independence supported and you successfully split away from the personal union, then the people who supported your independence will automatically become your allies. So this is basically setting us up for a future with Naples and Venice, which frankly I'm okay with. I think they're actually going to be pretty good allies. They'll definitely help us secure things in the Mediterranean and allow us to basically look elsewhere. Plus, both of them being Italian states, they're going to be very wealthy. Venice often has a rivalry with the Ottomans, and in fact they're taking over territories in Greece, so that's going to transpire. And I'm quite happy to step in and try and curb the Ottoman expansion. King, with the backing of the members of the Holy Roman Empire, the Emperor has decided to go through the reform called for Reichsreform. This reform has the following effect: reform the Empire to a more centralised model. The Empire gets 5% more cheaper construction cost, 5% cheaper development cost, and gives a CB on non-members holding imperial territory. So if there's anybody which has imperial lands which is not actually currently in the Empire, for example Burgundy, then the Emperor, whoever that is right now, Austria, can now declare war on them to try and integrate those territories back into the Empire. That's a big Geneva. You are a vassal, though. Okay. Oh, wow. Costs 103. Why is that so expensive? Oh, it's 100 usually. It's because I'm so used to having economic ideas. I'm used to the lower prices. So we'll just need to wait a little bit longer. That's not really an issue. Now, is there anybody else that is close to wanting to support our independence? Tunis, potentially. Nobody else is at all interested, so it would just be Tunis. And who else are Aragon's rivals? I'm guessing it's... No, it's Venice, England, and Naples. So if we didn't have a truce with England, they probably could be persuaded to. So when does that end? 1475. So 8 years from now, we might be able to bring England in too. But because we have two fairly large powers supporting our independence and the fact that we are ourselves a large nation, we have a 100% liberty desire, which means that we could very easily split away from Aragon. And in fact, I wonder, can we just declare that war now? Absolutely we can. Except we have great relations with Aragon because they were a very good ally of ours. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start to insult them. I'm going to send an insult, and I'm going to send it as a scornful insult. So Venice, England, and Naples will all like this. This will cost us 5 prestige, and it will reduce their relations by 100. And then because of that, we now have less than 100 relations, which means that we will no longer have the positive relations penalty for a war. So let's stop you guys drilling. Let's start you repairing. And let's get ourselves ready for this. Now, can we immediately jump on any of their armies? I do believe that we can, yes. So let's prepare to do just that. Which one of you has a better maneuver? 3, 5. So if you go down there, then you'll be crossing the river, and you won't. Stay here until he's passed by. And we're going to wait like 2 months to make sure that we have the manpower for this. Let's go ahead and build the church. Now, usually, just before declaring a war, this is not the type of time that you'd want to run out of money, but we're going to do it anyway. New HRE, so Ladislaus Postumus of Austria is the new ruler, and Austria has become the Archduke of Austria and the King of Hungary. So Hungary inherits Croatia, and Hungary is now a junior partner of Austria. So this is basically the beginning of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Ladislaus Postumus, the Archduke of Austria, is now the recognised sovereign of both Austria and Hungary. Preferring to rule from Vienna, he has adopted the title of Archduke as his primary title, despite the protests of the Hungarian nobility. Hungary is therefore now ruled by Austria under a personal union. And we could also secure some help from the papacy. I think I'm going to take the prestige. Or we could take the 10% more tax income. And considering the vast majority of our income is taxation, we're going to go ahead and levy a church tax, just to make sure that our finances are well and truly secure during this conflict. Now, we're going to wait until the beginning of July, and then we'll declare war. Immediately attack in. This army should pretty much die straight away. In fact, no, I think we're going to use both of our armies here. Because the problem here, mountains, we don't want to suffer the -2. This one's just dryland, there's no penalty. Alright, Aragon, here we go. War of Independence, this will automatically call in the 2 people who are supporting our independence, so Naples and Venice. Navarra will support Aragon, so will Florence. That's basically going to mean that Florence is going to be fighting against Venice and Naples. And unfortunately for Florence, they have a mutual border, so even the Neapolitan troops can march straight in as well. So this is going to be very bad for them. So the personal union has ended. And you can declare the war, by the way, as long as you have more than 50% liberty desire. We lost stability because our king was replaced. We now have a 2-3-3 ruler. Navarra has agreed to their military alliance. Naples, Venice, and Florence. Okay, let the fighting begin. So we're going to march straight in and attack this guy. What's your maneuver? 0. We're not going to have the river crossing. Boom. Battle is joined. So we have our 30,000 men with our higher morale because of our Castellan traditions. They have army tradition and power projection. We have the cavalry advantage, which at this stage should be pretty decisive. They're actually moving away to try and occupy a castle, probably. But this should be a very, very one-sided fight. Boom. And they are sent into retreat. So Wilhelm is a 0 siege. Holy Victor is a 1 siege. So we shall leave Holy Victor to take Valencia. And then Wilhelm will split in half and we'll just start sieging down these Aragonese territories. Joachim of Stettin is the new emperor. Austria just lost the emperorship. Interesting. Because of the personal union? Or did they just get really unlucky and that guy died? I think they just got really unlucky. And because Austria was probably unpopular with the empire because of having just acquired Hungary, they were voted out. Interesting. So the HRE is currently ruled by this occupied 2-province minor, who may not actually exist for much longer. So right now the empire is very, very weak. One of the cardinals in Castile is proven to be a skilled administrator and already provides useful advice to the king. At this point, making him a minister in our own government would almost be only a formality. So the clergy can gain influence. And we gain a pretty powerful minister to support us. Or we can gain prestige. I would like to double down on the yearly papal influence, so we're going to accept that. We are still improving relations with the Pope, who doesn't like us very much, but that's okay. Alright. And we should probably get the Navy out as well. Because we have such overwhelming naval superiority, I doubt that Aragon's even going to leave port. So what I'm going to do is we're going to move to Murcia. I'm going to leave the heavies here, and then we're going to blockade with the galleys. And if they decide to sally out and try and sink the galleys, they'll buy us time to bring in the carracks. And King Juan III is a tactical genius, giving all of our generals a +1 maneuver. Though I do believe that's for new generals, not for current ones. Yeah. So we're going to click on the transport, which is the... So there are 2 lines of ships, which shows you how many ships you've got. Click on just the top one, and it will select all units of that type. So this is just the cogs sailing out. And actually, no, they have decided to leave port, which is an interesting choice. I clicked through that a bit quicker than I should have. Okay, so Juan is only 21. That's good. Florence right now is beating Venice. Venice's army must... Yeah, they're over here. Is Venice at war with somebody else? Venice is currently fighting against Genoa, Mantua, Cyprus, and Pangaea. That's a little unfortunate. What about Naples? Naples isn't. So Naples should be just in this war. Now, there's no real reason to hurry the conflict here, so we're just going to wait until we can successfully siege this down. And we'll wait just behind it. And then once this is gone, we can basically siege all of this stuff. Eventually we'll need to get Pyrenees and Roussillon. Austria declared war on Bregenz. Independence war. Wait, oh! Austria were themselves personal unioned by Bregenz. Wow, Austria got really unlucky. So their ruler became the ruler of Austria and Hungary. Then somebody else, well then that king died. Somebody else got a personal union over Austria. Does that mean that Hungary's personal union was just immediately cancelled? No, they're also under Bregenz. And Bregenz is 1 province minor. So this guy took control of Austria and Hungary. And just like I went up against Aragon, these 2 have immediately declared independence. I don't know if this means Hungary is going to be its own independent state after this. Probably. And when there is a war of independence like this with multiple minor subjects in the conflict, I believe that they all have a choice as to whether they want to get involved or stick with their overlord. I'm pretty sure that's how it works with wars of independence for colonies as well. Morocco has announced Castile as a new rival. So other people are going to start rivaling us, but we can't rival them yet. One more month and these guys are fully repaired. And then we can start blockading, which is also going to speed up the siege of Valencia. Our war taxes are a thing. They are. But right now I'm trying to save monarch points because we're behind in everything. Thanks to a series of really bad rulers. And also the fact that we're behind in technology. We don't have the institution yet. Alright, let's send the heavies out, start blockading. In fact, I think I'm going to send the cogs as well, because we're not quite blockading all of them. In fact, let's send the heavies to go and engage their galleys. So this is 9 galleys, 1 heavy versus 7 heavies. We should win this. Although, Aragon have got very good galleys. So definitely not a fight to take for granted. But yeah, we're winning. Took a fair amount of damage, but we did win. Oh, and we captured their heavy ship. Oh man, that's unlucky for Aragon. Then I'm going to send you guys back to Murcia to repair. And their fleet's now in the Balearic, but that's fine. And now, because we have the blockade, we have nullified their positive bonus from having an open port. Hey Tropus, is this game harder to play than Hearts of Iron? I wouldn't say it's harder, but it's certainly deeper. I would recommend this over Hearts of Iron. I much prefer Europa Universalis. I think it is the best of all of the games which Paradox does. It is by far the strongest. But I get it. It's intimidating. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of options. The thing is that you can... As long as you know the basics, like what you can do, then all of the depth is more about assisting you and giving you tools to achieve what you're trying to do. Is this my independence war or theirs? This is my independence war. Aragon managed to get a PU over Castile. It's quite funny, like, the Castellan-Aragon War of Independence is going on at the same time as the Austrian-Hungarian-Bregenz War of Independence. And I don't think I'm ever going to have seen a more one-sided conflict than this. Can I get any information about what's actually going on there? Because it's kind of hilarious. Current wars. Here we go. It's literally just Bregenz versus Austria-Hungary. I can't see any numbers. But yeah, it's going to be one-sided. Oh, the Florentine Navy is fighting against the Venetian Navy. And there are more Aragonese ships out there. Where is Naples Navy? I have a feeling that Naples doesn't actually have as many ships as I thought. Let's see if I can go bail out Venice. Not easily. So Florence is sending a fleet over here. Not a particularly good fleet, though. And we caught Florence. We have massively more strength than they. They don't even have any galleys here. This is not a war fleet. We annihilated it. We captured 2 transports and a light ship. And I'm going to say, let's go on and attack this Aragonese navy as well. And like this, we'll really wrest control of the seas here. Again, no combat fleets here at all. Completed a state agenda. So we built the temple in Leon. It's given us 1 extra base tax and then also more loyalty for the clergy. Excellent. Oh, the cheeky blighters. They managed to intercept my ships as they were trying to withdraw. They're only transports. You know what? We'll go and intercept them. We'll intercept you right back again. Captured 2 more transports from Aragon. Thank you. And then we're basically using our transports just to pin their galley fleet in place. We are going to lose a couple, probably. But the heavies are coming in and boom, they retreated. And we didn't lose any. So you carry on the blockade. You send those 2 transports there. And then these guys. Actually, you can stay here and make sure that their galley fleet never leaves. And hopefully this is going to give Venice the opportunity to start retaking the seas of their own. Nobles ally with a foreign power. The nobility often prove unruly subjects to the king, seeking to resist any infringement on their autonomy and seizing any opportunity to strengthen their position. So the nobility lose 10 loyalty. Castile gains a diplomatic insult CB against Aragon. Or we lose 15 prestige, but the nobility gains loyalty. I really don't want to lose prestige. I don't want to risk another personal union. And because our legitimacy is so low, we are going to need to seek out royal marriages. So keeping positive prestige while we're doing that is important. Because from what I understand, and this is part of the game that I'm probably the least familiar with, is royal marriages and the dynastic stuff. As long as you have higher prestige than the country you're married to, then you won't get PU'd. If they have lower prestige than you, then you could get a personal union over them. The lower the prestige, the more likely it's to happen. And one way you can see this is by hovering over the disputed succession. So if, for example, we got a marriage now with England, as long as they don't get an heir, personal union is relatively likely. Whereas if we got one over Austria, it's unlikely. Although you should also take age into account. So Aragon's ruler being 71 years old, if we now got a personal, if we rather got a marriage with Aragon and that guy died, personal union might well happen. Oh, they can't claim your throne. You can be personal union if the ruler dies. I did think that prestige affected your chances of getting the personal union, though. I'm fairly sure that's true. Do I have any thoughts on Mixer shutting down? It came out of nowhere. I'm not that surprised, but I am surprised it's happening now. Mixer just spent a massive amount of money getting Shroud and Ninja to join their platform in, what, the last year? And then so soon after doing that, shutting down, yeah, that surprised me. Am I surprised they're not doing well? No, because I would say that Twitch is a pretty dominant platform and Mixer has completely failed to build a market share. Ninja made out like a bandit 30 million for 4 years and he got it all for 1 year. Yeah, exactly. Like the guys who did that just made an absolute killing. It is unfortunate that there isn't a more viable competitor to Twitch. I am a little bit afraid that Twitch is going to become less and less responsive in the way that YouTube has, just because there's no competition to YouTube. We'll see. I'm still expecting Twitch to get absolutely hammered in a copyright issue, though. That's just a problem waiting to happen. Twitch is way too laissez-faire about copyrights. The Siege of Valencia lasted 511 days. Good. Sack of Valencia. Traditionally, advancing armies have been expected to supply themselves from what they can plunder in the area they move through. This is often the only way for soldiers to survive in wartime, as payments to the kingdom treasury can be rarely brought in a timely manner to the men. In fact, by paying retroactively, many also avoid the strain of paying for the fallen. As Valencia fell, it was therefore expected that our soldiers would be allowed to loot the city to enrich themselves. What was less expected was the total and utter destruction of the city that took place. Refusing to follow orders, our men descended upon the helpless burghers, doing despicable things and ruining the area for a long time to come. We need better pay, routines and harder discipline. This will cost us money, which we can afford. We gain army professionalism or punish the perpetrators. Lose 5 prestige, they get looted, they gain devastation. Aragon hates us. I don't necessarily want Aragon to completely detest us. So we're going to do better payment routines and harder discipline. Plus the extra 5% army professionalism is pretty big. Alright, so we've taken that. Let's move on and see where their armies are. Found you. So Zaragoza is dryland, it's got a river running through. Holy Victor is a high maneuver, so we're unlikely to get that penalty. That's basically a dead army.